A veteran can buy a brace any day of the year. You haven't lived until you see a shootout in your district between a criminal with a ghost gun. We don't need automatic weapons in the hands of civilians. There's no hunting purpose. There's no purpose. You can buy the brace without a background check. But when it becomes a dangerous weapon, when that brace changes the gun's legal status and makes it, in essence, the same that caused a mass shooting at a Boulder, Colorado supermarket, the stabilizing brace made and a shorter barrel made a pistol under federal gun regulations.
She has no idea what she's talking about. None at all. One of the firearms groups out there said, we just lost brain cells listening to Sheila Jackson Lee yesterday on the floor of the House try to explain anything about a pistol brace. Welcome back to the program. Dana Loesch here with you, top of the second hour. You can listen coast to coast, and you can also watch the simulcast of the radio program on YouTube, where there's always good discussion, Facebook, DirecTV, Channel 347. Yeah, it was the National Association for Gun Rights. They said, our whole office lost brain cells listening to her talk about stabilizing braces, because that's one of the things that passed out of the House yesterday was this bill to repeal, and we talked about this with the congressman who pushed it and proposed it, this bill to repeal the pistol brace ban, which made millions of Americans into felons overnight. And the ATF was trying to say, no, we didn't just make people felons. Like, they could turn it in or they could destroy their gun. That's how they could do it. And but they had said twice, though. The ATF is on record of saying 2 times over the span of years that, no, these are perfectly legal things to have. And then all of a sudden they decided to change their mind. And it's so... She couldn't even explain how they work. Like, what did she say? She said this quote. She said, I've held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I hadn't. It's as heavy as 10 boxes. This dude, this is the stuff that she literally was like, it's as heavy as 10 boxes. You know of what? Like boxes of what? You absolute goofball. The issue with this is that and again, I'm not asking you to know, everything in the world about pistol braces, etc. What you need to understand is that the pistol brace is a variable. So switch out the pistol brace with something else. Switch out the ATF with another government, bureau. That's what we're talking about. The process of these bureaus of unelected officials who are doing an in-run around Congress, and they are creating these rules and demanding that they be followed as law. But for a law to be a law, Congress has to legislate it. Lawmakers have to draft the bill. We all remember Schoolhouse Rock, although I do like the meme of when the bill is sitting on the steps of the Capitol and it's talking to the little boy. And he's like, how does a bill become law? And then they exchange money in the second panel. That's it. That's the joke. So it doesn't even really matter whether or not you like a pistol brace. And just, pistol braces were literally invented for disabled veterans. It was a guy who came out. He went to the range with one of his friends who had served and was in combat, and he had been injured. And the guy had a lot of difficulty in holding his pistol. And so it was created just to give them a little bit of stability to hold their pistol. And the reason that people were trying to object to it is they said, oh, well, you could use it as like a stock and shoulder a pistol. Stop it. It's dumb. It's a piece of plastic. That's it. It doesn't change the rate of fire. It doesn't mean more rounds per minute. It doesn't the only time it would ever help with accuracy is literally if you're a person with a disability and you would like to be able to have something for self-defense and that helps you. That's why it was created. Everyone acts like it's like this evil, nefarious thing, and it's not. You had people that what really ultimately, I think what some of the goal is here is they don't want any kind of, it's really a fight against technology. This would be similar. I was thinking about this actually last night because I started this draft and I was thinking about writing this a piece about like the history of the technological progression of firearms, beginning with the advent of rifling during the time of the Revolution, even though you had the Kentucky gun and all this at the time. And that really is what, the French had rifling. We incorporated that into our arms with Washington's army, etc. Of course, you had some good old folks down there in other parts of the colonies at the time, and that were all trying to incorporate this themselves. And that gave us a huge advantage over British because we were more accurate as a result of that. And then it went from there. This would be, in trying to compare it to this, it would be like, the government trying to be against like rifling or something like that at the time. They're against any kind of progression in firearms. And that's ultimately what this is coming down to. And they don't want any kind of aids for anything. So really too, this is again, it's about a bureaucracy. It's about one variable and one bureau that's trying to do Congress's job for it. I mean, when I was at SHOT Show in Vegas, which is the industry show, they work with NSSF, National Shooting Sports Foundation. They work with the manufacturers. And the ATF had a booth down there, and they very purposefully put it on one of the lower floors where you have the smaller businesses and the new businesses that are just exhibiting at SHOT Show for the first time. I think they do it as a form of intimidation. And none of them could answer my questions. And I took Lauren Boebert over there. I was down at a friend's booth, a veteran-owned booth. A lot of these are mom and pop shops. And I wasn't a jerk or anything because there's two things I wanted to do. I wanted to see if any of them could explain it to me in a way that had not yet been conveyed to the public, number one. And number two, I wanted to see if they actually knew what the hell it was that they were trying to enforce. And I was so abysmally disappointed on both of those counts. And one of the guys I was very cool. I think if I had been aggressive, he would have been quote unquote triggered. But he was very immediately like on his guard when I came over to his booth. And I was just very cool. I just, managed the situation. I was just, being very non-confrontational, making them feel at ease so they didn't get all upset, and all this stuff. And they had started with like 2 of these agents and then 3 and then 4 and then 5 and then 6 and then 7 and 8. And all these people kept coming. I was being real cool. And I know there were like a bunch of people that started to form behind us. And I wanted them to see that, first off, this is stupid. Secondly, I apparently knew more about the rule than they did, which also shocked me. I'm like, wait, you're supposed to, this is like your thing. How do I know more about this than you do? And they couldn't explain anything to me. And at one time when the guy mentioned Trump, one of the agents, he pretended to scratch his cheek and he just stuck up his middle finger and scratched his cheek when he said, and I look at him, I go, that's cute. I'm like, come on. I'm like, you're a government official. Should you really be doing that here? And he just kind of looked at me. It's like, this is so goofy. I'm like, how are you helping your cause? Really, how are you helping your cause? The whole reason you're here, and I told him this, is that you guys claim that you're trying to make inroads with a lot of these entities, a lot of these businesses, but your actions say everything but. You seem like you're here for a fight. You seem like you're here to be confrontational and nothing else. And it's true. I mean, with some of those agents, they did. And they couldn't tell me who I could talk to. It was like, they acted like they were some kind of mysterious organization. It was really weird. So that's my problem. And that's why, I walked away feeling even more ticked off than I was. But kept it cool, kept it chill, because I knew they would lose their minds if I even so much as raised their voice. For people who are like agents and who should have all of their stuff together, I've never seen more fragile people. Like, I should not be cooler and calmer than you. I should not be going up and having, more of a better bearing than you. Like, if you're going to sit here and do all of this stuff, then man, you better actually walk the walk. It's ridiculous. No wonder they shoot dogs and everything. Oh, wait, what? But anyway, as I was saying, it's literally just one variable. And that's one of the things that they were pushing. So it passed through the House. If I'm being honest, I don't have any expectation that it'll go through the Senate. Even though Democrat, majority is very small there, I don't think that there's any chance that it will, because with Republicans like Mitt Romney and others, you have the Murkowskis, you have the Collins, Romney. I don't really have a lot of confidence that it's going to go anywhere. because not every Republican is as strong on natural rights as you would like for them to be. So that being said, this was that was one of the things that went through. So they voted to repeal the ATF's pistol brace edict. And then here you had Sheila Jackson Lee. She thinks that it's a piece of plastic that was created that turns guns into full auto. She actually thinks pistol braces turned guns into full auto.
Why is she representing anyone?
You have a responsibility to know what the hell you're talking about if you're going to propose laws to regulate it. I mean, we didn't like glam up her remarks. Those were literally her remarks. You cannot make this stuff up.